Yet another anemic weekend at the box office. I mean, like, it's really bad out here. Okay, this weekend might be a little bit better. You got Tron Ares coming out, but after, it's not like that's tracking all that well. Okay, let's not get it twisted. It's going to be pretty rough until about, God, 6 weeks from now? Okay, like you got Zootopia 2 coming out, which will be big for the kids and all that stuff, and it's a family film, and that's about the only thing that's really performed this year, but my God, man, it is just a desert out there. And it's perfectly underscored by, yeah, a Taylor Swift sing-along concert, okay, for all of the aspiring spinsters with their pumpkin spice latte and cat litter drizzle on the top of it. I guess they all got together, well, a diminishing amount of them, because to just simply compare this with her other theatrical concert release, the Eras Tour, okay, remember that came out a couple years back? Yeah, that opened up $60 million better, so not great. Okay, but when you take a look at actual films, okay, you got one battle after another. I guess after 2 weeks in the theater, it just crossed $100 million globally on a $200 million budget. No, fantastic stuff. But the only other debut of the week, or I guess you got a re-release of, Avatar: The Way of Water, which I think is probably another dire thing as well, because that's supposed to be the one that's going to be making all of the money that's really going to help recoup a bunch of the losses towards the end of the year, coming out in the dying days of December. The $2.3 billion success back in 2023 of Avatar: The Way of Water, only making $3 million at the box office. That's probably not a good sign either. Or maybe it just really does drive home the point that everybody goes and sees the Avatar movies at the theater once, really loves the experience, and then can't tell you anything about it half an hour later. But we'll obviously get around to that. We still got a couple of months before we really have to even broach that topic. Before that, we got to talk about the downfall of The Rock, because the Smashing Machine debuted, and it's here's one good thing we can say about this. It's the number one cinematic release of the weekend. Number one best performing new release at the cinemas. How many caveats do we need on top of that? Because, yeah, you take a look, $6 million for the weekend. That's atrocious, no matter how you slice it. And even still, like, it has a $50 million budget, but on a $6 million opening weekend and some of the other periphery metrics, this is quite a disaster. And honestly, like, this is a film I was somewhat looking forward to, as somebody who is fairly well versed in the pioneers of MMA. To be completely honest, like, for The Rock, this was probably the best movie for him to do. And of the couple of reviews that I've seen of it, it's like he's getting somewhat positive responses to it. It's just, well, it's been let down by kind of a bloated, meandering script, which is interesting because this is based on true events. It's a biopic of somebody who is still very much alive, so you really shouldn't have to invent a bunch of interesting stuff to tell the story that you're trying to tell, but okay, I guess to each their own. It's just, of the early MMA pioneers, like, if you were going to do a movie, like, I would much rather see like a Don Fry or a Boss Rutan movie, but Mark Kerr's, like, he's got an interesting story, but name recognition wise, like, it's probably a name I would put considerably lower on the totem pole. Like, it was, and even naming the movie The Smashing Machine, like, yes, that's his nickname, that's his fight name, we get it. It's just, there was better ways to go to marketing this. And then also in 2025, you got a movie starring The Rock, not quite the same way that you could carry a movie if this was 10, 15 years ago at this point. But let's sift through the rubble and see if we can find out exactly what went wrong here. So Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's long-promised dramatic reinvention just blew up in his face. After years of trying to be taken seriously as an actor, his new A24 drama, The Smashing Machine, debuted with $6 million at the box office, the worst opening of his career. Not adjusted for inflation, nothing like that at all whatsoever. It was just a dog water. In the film's trailer, yes, The Rock proclaims, "Winning is the best feeling there is." This just won't be one of those situations. And yeah, I'm sure that he's quite fond of the memories of that sensation, but this weekend Johnson tasted nothing but bitter defeat at the box office and was humiliated by Swifties. Jesus Christ. According to Variety, the R-rated sports drama cratered in third place despite opening in over 3,300 theaters, and that's far below projections of $8 to $15 million, which, yeah, on a $50 million budget, that's fine, I guess, throughout your entire theatrical run. You might be able to eke out a profit, but on the $6 million on your opening weekend, and also well, we'll just cut to the chase here. You got a B- cinema score and otherwise like middling reviews and 0 word of mouth. I mean, let's just say, I can imagine The Rock is probably going to be turning up for John Cena's farewell tour before it's all said and done into the Fed. But anyways, yeah, coming back around, yes, this is the lowest opening weekend, even lower than 2010's Faster, which I actually have a physical copy of somewhere around here. And yeah, even back in 2010, like, he was getting props. It's like, it's actually a pretty decent performance of him, back then. But that was right during that run where he had box art or posters for a movie where it was just him being sweaty with an explosion in the background. It was very much a trope for a time, but I bet you he's gagging for those times to return. But yes, for A24, this is a disaster. The studio reportedly spent $50 million producing the movie and many millions more on promotional efforts that included major festival premieres in Venice, yes, and Toronto, where he got a 15-minute standing ovation at the Venice Film Festival that left him in tears, and everybody was thinking that, oh yeah, this is gonna harken quite a successful opening weekend. Nope. The Smashing Machine will likely need at least $150 million worldwide to break even, and that's a near impossibility given what we're doing right now. But critics were moderately positive. The film holds a 73% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is okay, but audiences weren't impressed, giving it a B- cinema score. In other words, word of mouth is dead on arrival. Even Variety's box office analyst David Gross put it bluntly: Dwayne Johnson and Emily Blunt are strong leads who have elevated bigger pictures. Yeah, and they were, oh my god, didn't they team up for Jungle Cruise or something like that? So don't we already know that this is kind of a group, which, to be honest, like, I really like Emily Blunt. Like, she's quite good in the stuff that I've seen her in, but when these two team up, it's kind of box office poison. So why would they want to do this again? I guess maybe they had fun times taking another movie, but anyways, it's not happening here. American wrestling is a local phenomenon, and that will limit it abroad. Well, David Gross also kind of sounds like an idiot, because yeah, this is a pioneer of mixed martial arts. He fought over in Pride, because this is all about his turnaround and recovery leading into the big Grand Prix that he ended up winning in the early days. But yeah, now that this is a confirmed flop, this isn't so much a one-off type situation where The Rock can go, it was an experiment, right? From a smaller studio, smaller budget, all this stuff. It's, well, as it says right here, from Black Adam to Smashing Machine, a pattern emerges. This isn't just one bad weekend, it's part of a trend. Johnson's previous attempts at a passion project, Black Adam, also flopped after a public clash with Warner Brothers. Yes, once considered one of Hollywood's most bankable stars, The Rock's reputation for box office dominance is fading fast. And of course, he's going to get a little bit of a bump, because it wasn't that long ago Moana 2 came out, then the live action and Moana 3 are also out there. He's his $7 entertainment group signed a first look deal with Disney specifically, so he'll be able to, I would say, probably transition to more of a producer's role, and then just, cherry pick his different projects moving forward, because we know he has a Scorsese movie in the works, and because he's getting at least middling reviews for his performance in this, he'll be able to, move along. Because that's really what he's trying to do here with his Instagram post, simultaneously thanking audiences for checking out the film, which, he is a consummate professional after all, which is the nicest way of saying just simply an empty suit. But yes, he's trying to be conciliatory, but then also throw some people under the bus. He was doing the exact same thing, especially with WrestleMania this year. But another topic for another time. From deep in my grateful bones, thank you to everyone who watched The Smashing Machine. In our storytelling world, you can't control box office results, but what I realized you can control is your performance and your commitment to completely disappear and go elsewhere. And I will always run to that opportunity. It was my honor to transform into this role for my director, Benny Safdie. Thank you, brother, for believing in me. Truth is, the film has changed my life with deep gratitude, respect, and radical empathy. Yeah, thanking everybody, thanking the director, saying he had a great time on working on the project, and then just also going, I don't really know why I didn't make a bunch of money, and that kind of sucks. I can't control that stuff, but we're going to be moving on to bigger and better things. If you want to go check out the film, go check out the film, but otherwise, I'm done talking about it, because you know what? I'm not getting paid nearly enough to, in fact, talk about it, because it's also interesting what has come out in light of this. Well, The Rock really wanted to make this his movie where he could pivot from being big old bulky action star to being serious, contemplative, respectable actor. How Dwayne Johnson's Smashing Machine went down for the count as Star's lowest opening. The pick will bleed, yes, a little, with a $10 to $15 million loss. And if you do proper movie math, it's not going to be like a Marvel level disaster, but it's still a tremendous failure. So what the hell happened? Just like Taylor Swift, the official release party for A Showgirl is a box office. Yeah, case study, the last minute announcement, and thrifty marketing campaign, which fueled a $34 million opening. And to try to say that that somehow bit into the Smashing Machine's box office, I don't know what we're talking about here. But so the fallout here, for the Smashing Machine. The good news before diving into the bad is that the movie had a net $50 million production budget and tax credits from Vancouver and New Mexico won't lose much, estimates between $10 to $15 million, but you also had this estimated to open up to $8 to $15 million, so I'll believe it when I see it when this is all said and done in a couple weeks time. On the low end, that's based on the final domestic between $14 and $20 million. How great that loss becomes hinges on how hard A24 wants to push the movie. This award season, that's about the only time that you can hope that there's going to be even somewhat of a renaissance for that movie, or for this movie rather, and it's going to be, it's going to be tough going. Okay, The Smashing Machine was a project foreign buyers liked in qualitative terms, but at the time, sources say that there were concerns over the commerciality as the story is an unrecognizable Johnson on screen and UFC's a lesser-known cultural presence outside the United States. I don't really know so much if that's true, or if you're telling a MMA pioneer story, Mark Kerr's very low on that totem pole, okay? But like I said before, and as everybody has speculated, this is the movie where, The Rock wanted to pivot, and case in point, Johnson took a $4 million fee, significantly below his historical $20 million plus paycheck plus points. Sources say that he gave a portion of his paycheck to Emily Blunt and Mark Kerr. Theatrical P&A is factored into the estimated $15 million. Yeah, man, he took a considerable haircut, and not even just mentioning he went bald or, put on a bald cap for some of the movie. But his big gamble did not even come close to paying off. And that sucks because apparently it's not that bad of a film. But it just goes to tell you when public perception is no longer on your side, when you bet the farm on trying to appeal to everybody, but in reality nobody believes you and sees through your inauthenticity, this is exactly what happens. Here today, gone tomorrow. And unless he can lobby to get a couple of golden statues come the new year, this will be the last time you'll hear The Rock talk about the Smashing Machine. It'll be all Scorsese all the time from here on out. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.